Tuned into Salam Media with myself, Salailo Makwidiri, on the Wednesday edition of News and Views. The time is 8:42. Yeah, you're still tuned into the home of humanitarian journalism, where we are keeping you company for the next, hour and a half. And right now, we'll be shifting our focus to Myanmar, and we'll be chatting to activist Shabnam Mayet. And we'll be discussing, a topic which I feel like for the longest time, because of what's happening in Gaza, and the atrocities and the ongoing genocide in Palestine, we seem to have, shifted our focus away from the people of Rohingya and the refugee crisis that's currently happening in that part of the world. They are one of the world's biggest and most, urgent refugee crisis that is currently occurring. The people of Rohingya are the world's largest stateless population, and they are facing, atrocities on a scale that I think deserves our undivided attention. And we'll be speaking to Shabnam on this. She's joining us via StreamYard. Assalamu alaikum, Shabnam. Jazakallah so much for joining us, and welcome to Salam Media.
Walaikum salam. Thank you very much for having me on the show this morning.
And I think we appreciate you giving us your time, and we sometimes tend to lose focus, especially with what's currently happening in Gaza, and we seem to forget that they are the people of Rohingya who are going through some of the most atrocious atrocities, and I think if you can start by giving us perspective, to those that have might have shifted focus, there's some that might have even forgotten, because the headlines have been for the longest
Sure.
time being dominated by Gaza. What are the people of Rohingya currently going through?
Well, Salilo, we're living in a time of perpetual genocide currently, and it's easy to understand why we lose focus. But I think the important part is that we remember that every one of us can do something. So when we're looking at the Rohingya currently, the situation is really dire. So as you know, in 2017, there was a genocide by the Myanmar military, and 1 million Rohingya crossed the border into Bangladesh, and Cox's Bazar has become the world's largest refugee camp. But what has happened since the end of November is that the Arakan army, which is the ethnic army in Rakhine State or Arakan State, where the Rohingya come from in Myanmar, have been taking real wins against the military, as have other ethnic minorities around Myanmar, because since the coup in 2021, the People's Defense Forces, which is all the ethnic minorities who have come together to fight against the military junta, have become stronger and have been really fighting very hard as an alliance. And the Arakan army and the military have both been fighting in Arakan State or Rakhine State, which is the home of the Rohingya. And what has happened is the Rohingya have not only become stuck in the middle of this fighting, which is happening around their villages, but there have been village burnings, airstrikes, the destruction of homes and schools and masjids. And the army has continued to block all telecommunication services, roads, waterways, and they're stopping urgent humanitarian aid and medical aid from moving in those areas. But the Arakan army, who is the ethnic army fighting the military, has also torched Rohingya houses. They've also been allegations of beheadings, of destruction, and them also forcing the Rohingya to fight on their side. So what has in essence been happening is Rohingya come to the battlefield and end up facing one another on opposing sides, because they're basically being used as human shields by the fighting forces. And another 200,000 of them have been displaced. 4,000 are just waiting because there's a long border between Myanmar and Bangladesh, and they're just waiting to be let in. But Bangladesh is saying, we have too many refugees, we will not let anyone else in. And it's almost like we're watching TV in 2017 again, with hundreds of thousands of Rohingya just being forcefully displaced and trying to find a space. And this time around, no humanitarian aid is reaching them.
And I think what really jumped at me is that continued targeting and forced conscription of the Rohingya people. Can you maybe touch a bit on that a
Sure,
bit,
sure.
because I think it's a story that's not well documented. Touch on the junta troops and how in different
Mhm.
camps they are essentially forcing Rohingya people from each of the camps to join the army and fight on their side.
Mhm. So Myanmar, of course, the military has been fighting since 2021. Since their coup, they have been fighting their own civilians. And the population of Myanmar is around 55 million. And of course, a lot of the military or a lot of the soldiers have defected. They've, given up. They've surrendered. And what has happened is the military has taken this military service law since February. It's an old law, and they've put it back into effect. We're saying between the ages of 18 and 35, men and women need to go back and serve in the military. And the funny part is Rohingya have never been considered citizens since 1982 when the military junta revoked their citizenship. But now they're saying that even Rohingya must come with only 2 weeks of training. And sometimes they're promising them citizenship or around 500 Rand. And of course, there are no employment opportunities for the youth, and they're saying that they must come and join this military. And it's really sad because if you think about it, what is 2 weeks of training
Mm,
in a military situation? And so basically, they're just being used as human shields. That's the reality. And those that are saying no are being arrested, others are being kidnapped. More than 2,000 have been conscripted since the starting of this year.
Can we focus a bit on the hashtag Black for Rohingya, movement and campaign? If you can just give us a bit of an overview on that and what it entails, and how can people get involved?
Sure. So, Salam Media has always been one of our Black for Rohingya partners. And hashtag Black for Rohingya is basically an initiative that we began in July of 2013. And then from 2014 onwards, it's always been on the 13th of June. And the whole idea was to commemorate the Rohingya who were massacred in Arakan state in the second week of June in 2012. And what we do is we ask people all over the world to go onto their social media, to wear black and hold up or give a message of solidarity and support to the Rohingya. And it's basically to raise awareness around the plight for Rohingya. And the easy thing is that we wanted something that everyone could participate in. So whether you're on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, this is something for you. Even if you're not on any of those, you can do it in your family WhatsApp group. And the whole idea is, we're always saying that with in genocide, it's such a massive problem. What can one individual do? Well, what we can do is we can educate each other and we can educate the people around us. And this idea that we are helpless in the face of genocide is really just not true.
I think we're going to leave it there, Shabnam. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And I'm sure, definitely here on Salam Media, will definitely be participating and we'll be, giving all of our followers and all of our listeners more information about the campaign. Really, really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. That was the founding member of the Protect the Rohingya, Shabnam Mayet, giving us, the backstory of what the people of Rohingya are currently going through. They are the world's largest stateless population. And, apart from that, they're facing, enormous challenges from forced conscriptions, to successive violent campaigns by the Myanmar military, which the largest of which was in August 2017. That has led to more than 900,000 Rohingya refugees taking shelter in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh, in what has become the world's largest refugee camp. And around half of those in the camps are children. The exponential growth of the population is such a short amount of time has resulted in a severe deterioration of the living conditions. Whether it's finding shelter in the overcrowded camps, being a challenge. So I think it's very, very important that we don't lose focus on the people of Rohingya and what they're currently going through. So if you want to participate, as you heard from Shabnam, they wear black, have a placard or anything that shows solidarity with the people of Rohingya, and let's flood social media. And that hashtag is hashtag Black for Rohingya. With the ongoing genocide in Gaza, I know sometimes it might be really, really easy to lose track and focus on all of the other injustices that are occurring around the world. But we're here at Salam Media to give you information, platform, and to give you to keep you updated on all that needs your attention. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're coming back to Africa, well, to the southern part of Africa, our neighbors, Malawi, where a tragic plane has claimed the life of Vice President Solos Chilima and 9 others. And we'll be speaking to security journalist in Malawi, Ephraim Mkali Banda, who will be giving us insight on that right after this.